Alright everyone, the dying legacy media outlet Vice has done it again, writing another hit piece on YouTubers. This time they're saying, well, YouTube incentivizes conspiracy theories. Here's our comprehensive, dumbass study basically. We looked up one thing and we always ended up on the weird side of YouTube. Yes, if you take the related videos, eventually you're going to end up on all sorts of things on YouTube. That doesn't mean that conspiracy theories are something that people are driven to. In fact, a lot of that content is meant to refute conspiracy theories. And by the way, making 2 points here. Number one, just because the consensus is something is correct does not mean that every alternative to that is a harmful, dangerous, terrible thing. Number two, nobody has yet demonstrated how it is harmful in any way for entertaining individuals to talk about moon landing hoax or something like that. I fail to see the harms to society because number one, most people reject those things. They laugh at them. To them, it's a form of humor. Number two, even if they take it seriously, is that going to shake their worldview to say they're going to become violent or something? Because the arguments made by Vice and similar groups, to me, resemble the same arguments made against violent video games, or slasher flicks, or Harry Potter, or any of them, or Satanism, certainly, MAGA hat wearing at this point. Basically anything under the sun. And what it really looks like, and this is, this is probably the truth, is that the mollusk media, groups like Vice, are tired of being outcompeted by independent content creation. That is, they don't want they're using Shane Dawson as an example. Dawson probably pulls in a bigger audience than all of Vice media does. And so naturally they don't feel happy about that because especially younger individuals are getting news, entertainment, they're getting commentary, they're getting gaming and streaming and everything else under the sun. They're getting it increasingly from private individuals that don't have any affiliation with a corporate movement, or if they have business ties at all, their business isn't Vice Media, or BuzzFeed, or Vox, or Salon, or HuffPo, or one of these other groups, or certainly a CNN or whatever. I think, didn't Casey Neistat try to do something with CNN and it fell through and was, canceled? He was going to do some sort of show or slot or opinion pieces or some stupid thing like that, and then he basically wanders off. He's probably making more money independently anyway. By the way, if you're approached with business deals, speculative or otherwise, from any of these media orders, don't bother taking them. It'll look really lucrative until 10 years from now you lose that position and you've lost your organic audience because you went corporate. Trust me, bad idea. Form your own syndicates with other private creators if you want to do anything on the level of higher organization, which, by the way, is a good idea. I've spoken now for 3 years about the need for greater inter-creator organization. If only to ward off shit like this. Like if you know anything about YouTube, you know Vice is full of crap. No, YouTube's algorithms do not promote conspiracy theories. They promote independent commentary, and that's a huge problem if you're CNN. It's a huge problem. Recently, I'll point this out. This is a direct refutation of Vice. Lately, if you look up most recently trending news articles, for instance, I tried to find footage of the Beto rally, a few days ago when I was researching for my video on the subject, the El Paso lie. When I was researching the day prior, I was trying to find, in the immediate wake of the rally, new angles, like camera angles and stuff like that. You had to go through 5 or 6 pages of verified priority corporate news in order to get to any independent commentary whatsoever. YouTube 3 or 4 years ago was the exact opposite. Independent content creation was often at the top of the heap because those people knew how to brand themselves better on the platform, number one, had a larger organic audience, number two, and certainly, number three, far more participation. The algorithm favored people whose material was already taking off. Now it simply favors priority creators. CNN and Fox and WAPO and Vice, of course, would be one of them. So actually, YouTube, in regards to political and social commentary, favors the exact opposite of what Vice would cast as extreme or out there or edgy content. It's actually the total opposite. Independent content creators are on page 3 or 4. Unless you're specifically looking for it, like I do, I don't want to watch a CNN or a Fox video. If I wanted to watch boring stuff, I would turn on the TV. If I come to YouTube for independent content, I have to know to click through several pages of other shit in order to get there. That's really ultimately the problem. Somebody really needs to figure out a way to create an off-site, skewed, unalgorithmically manipulated way to search YouTube. At some point, they've got to develop something like that. Maybe Gab can do it since they're doing comments all over the internet sort of app they've already been developing. By the way, a novel idea that I believe, if I remember correctly, Google attempted 10 years ago and it fell through in favor of using some of these third-party applications like Discuss and stuff like that on some sites, even WordPress or G+, actually, is pretty much Google's idea in the wake of that is, oh, we'll just have, on-site functionality and it can be exported to your blog or whatever. Whoops, G+ fell through. Can't use that anymore. I think that there's still like independent commenting function provided, but it's no longer through that same social media service because it's dead, which is good. Good riddance to it. Nobody was using it. Vice is completely wrong. No, there's no conspiracy theory problem on YouTube, and so far nobody has shown me a compelling reason to believe it's a problem to begin with. Oh my god, somebody believes something wrong. They're making videos about the moon landing. They're making videos about JFK and a second shooter or whatever. So, dude, some of the most fun I've ever had on YouTube, some of the most fun evenings spent whittling away the time, essentially, watching weird videos on weird side of YouTube. Especially stuff related to JFK or Bush and his various conspiracies. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. Doesn't mean I came to believe in many of these things, but it was there to consume. What Vice is trying to do is censor its competitors because a lot of these socio-political commentators on YouTube also delve into conspiracy theories. It's not just about Shane Dawson. It's the weird side of YouTube and the political side of YouTube meshed together. There's a lot of overlap between the commentary, but Vice would also say that it's a conspiracy theory to suggest... a few years ago, they would have been saying it was a conspiracy theory to suggest that the Gulf of Tonkin incident was a false flag. Well, it was classed as a conspiracy theory, but it's not. It was absolutely true. The claim has actually been borne out by the Pentagon's own declassifications. So at some point we might get a declassified report. Yeah, Saran didn't do jack shit. Well, it's a conspiracy theory now. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong. Now, to be clear, most of them are bunk. For instance, the U.S. landed on the moon. Yes, we did. Every single piece of the it was a hoax sort of evidence, totally easily disproven. Or the Earth is flat or something, which I have a feeling most people promoting that don't actually believe it. But I think that's more tongue-in-cheek and satirical than anything else. But it's not problematic if someone wants to believe the world is flat. How does it affect my life? Unless it makes them statistically more likely to do crazy shit, I don't really care. And even if it does, well, if they're not breaking any law, they're just talking out their ass about things that they don't understand, who cares? Does it have a wider effect on society? And Vice knows that it's not a problem. There's no literature to suggest that it's problematic. If anything, people that are like that are probably half of them have schizophrenia. They're less likely to engage in violent behavior. Vice knows that it's not a problem, that they're haranguing. You gotta make sure that people think that there's a big problem online so you can censor your competitors a little more. Vice just had to downsize. It's stuff like this that causes that because they're so sensationalistic and easily disproven. But unless you know YouTube a little bit, if you're a part of Vice's audience or something, maybe that you take it on the token that it's true. Vice basically takes a shit. CNN will take that, scoop it up and eat it, and then regurgitate it, and then that's what's fed to the TV news watchers, the real low-info individuals. That's about all. Peace out.